Firefight by Brandon Sanderson. This is 416 pages, 52 chapters, and is a mix of the movies Waterworld and San Andreas. The set in Manhattan, the entire city is almost underwater. The tips of the skyscrapers are what the inhabitants use for dwelling spaces, and there's little bridges between the spaces. And so the epic in charge of this city is called Regalia. She is has history with Prof and has encouraged the group by trying to assassinate Prof or the professor, and then they're like, we got to put a stop to this. So they travel to New York and this new city, and it's a pair of epics actually. Dawn Sight and Regalia. Regalia has the water powers which lifted the sea level around the city to just the tips of the skyscrapers, and Dawn Sight makes the inside of the skyscrapers more of like a jungle, but also the cool colors. Any spray paint in the city glows in like a neon type of thing, and that's because of Dawn Sight. So very cool, very creative, very unique, right? With Chicago or New Chicago, it was all steel everywhere, and this is the opposite in almost every single way, right? You're outdoors, you got the water, it's just so much more open, the opposite of steel. And yeah, pretty neat. So the premise is that what happens to superheroes that become corrupted, or superpowers that get super powerful heroes that get corrupted. And so here we have randomly gifted humans who become superheroes or have superpowers, but then use them, to take over a city or to claim a kingdom, or, a little stretch of land. So the first book, this is the Reckoners series from Brandon Sanderson. The first book was called Steelheart. This is Firefight. So Firefight is a lieutenant of Steelheart. So the main villain in the previous book, we learn is, a lieutenant is Firefight, and that is the love interest from the first book. So Megan is actually Firefight. We discover that at the end of the first book. So we learn more about her, but she's also fled, right? She was spying on the Reckoners for Steelheart, and now that Steelheart's gone and she's, her cover's blown, that's gone. So the theme of the first book was hope. David, the main character, his father was hoping that there would good epics would come. Epics are the humans with superpowers. And so the hope that good epics would come and triumph over the epics who were trying to take over, in the quote unquote bad epics. The theme of this one is weakness. David was able to overcome Steelheart and win because he found out Steelheart's weakness. So now he has the key, right? He can kind of discover weaknesses and learn how to beat other epics. And so that's the whole point of the Reckoners, is to be an opposing force for, or against the against the epics, right? Reckoners versus epics. And the Reckoners want all humans, all non-epic humans, to rise up, so it'll just be regular humans again in charge. So, focused in Manhattan, almost entirely underwater. The history, it kind of delves into it, but I think that's more for the trilogy here coming up. But David actually has a fear of water, so this is going to be a really challenging environment for him. And his whole mission, pretty much his whole life goal up until this point, was to take out or make Steelheart pay for, taking out his father. So he's not on his home turf, and he's not comfortable, right? He's afraid of water. And we actually learn more about Megan's powers, right? She's in hiding, but she also is in contact with David via cell phone. So things I liked: the cell phone texting. I talked a little bit about how I didn't like the cell phones in the first one, but in the second one, I think it's really good because he is only 18, right? This is, a young adult series, and so like that relationship texting is a big part of that. And so I liked that. I liked the on and on again, off again nature of Megan and David. It's because of Megan's powers when she, comes back, she doesn't always remember and have all those memories. So it's kind of that, but as a teenage relationship, it's that on again, off again. So I thought that was really cool. And really, he is kind of adrift as well in that he doesn't know what to do after getting revenge, right? Does he, become the best reckoner he can be? Does he find something else? What does he want to do now that his main life goal is accomplished? I liked the other Reckoner cells. I liked that it wasn't just like, hey, Chicago's all we got. There's other sprinkled throughout the area. And what else? Yeah, I mean, I really liked the short chapters. This made it easy to continue and keep reading. This, fantasy environment was very unique and creative, and the short chapters just helped bring the story. It didn't drag at all at any point. Things I disliked was, of course, the new Reckoner cell. You're introducing new characters with any long-running series or story. When you add new characters, there's the risk that, they're going to get taken out at the expense of the main, core group of characters. So I don't want to say I saw that coming, but that's a thing that happens. Gifting. Prof gifts his powers in the forms of quote unquote technology. I like the idea of it. I just feel like it's almost like I don't know. It's something that I just didn't it just didn't click with me. And so maybe there'll be more revealed in the next book that'll make it make more sense. But at the beginning, it didn't sit well with me. So either way, there was one quote I really liked. There's lots of good quotes in here, but there's one that really stood out, and this is Tia talking about the professor. Um, we sometimes forget how human he is. He's just a man despite it all, a man full of feelings that at times don't make sense. We're all like that. We want what we can't have, even when we have no right to demand it. The professor didn't want to enter a contest, even though it would have brought him closer to Tia and, at NASA. And so that's part of the history there that they just barely delve into. But yeah, really looking forward to the next book. This is a fun series, young adult fantasy. Brandon Sanderson is an excellent writer. This just whole book series just flew by. I couldn't get enough of it. And yeah, it's just fun. So absolutely worth your time. Give it a read and remember to buy your books used or digital.